Catch us the foxes, the little foxes that destroy the vines, for our vines have tender graves. Song of Solomon 2:15. It is easier to name the person or the persons who are working against us than to admit that in some mornings you are looking right at the person in the mirror. We are always fluent in the language of blame. We can list our opponents by heart. The co-worker who took credit for our work, the friend who went silent on you without a word, the family member who never calls to check up on you, the circumstances that never breaks our way. We rehearse their names so often that they become a kind of comfort. And as long as we believe the enemy is out there, we see ourselves to be innocent in here. As long as someone else holds the knife, we solace ourselves of only being the wound. But there is a harder honesty for anyone brave to hold still long enough in the mirror and to recognize that sometimes the hand that ruins us is our own. Sabotage isn't always something done to us. Sometimes it is the harsh words we let loose at home because we held it all day at work, and the family becomes the place we finally set down a weight that we were too polite to let loose elsewhere. Sometimes it is the promise to our children we keep breaking, and each broken word is quietly teaching them to not believe the next time you give a promise. Sometimes it is a private habit we swore to stop last year and a year before and a year before that. The things we manage in secret and pays for it in ways no one else can see. Sometimes it is the distance we let grow in our marriages and relationships because we convince ourselves that apologizing costs more pride than we want to spend. So we let the silence do the talking, and the silence says nothing kind. Sometimes it is a seat we leave empty at church because we are ashamed to sit in it, as if God were a landlord waiting to collect and not a father knocking at the door of our hearts and waiting for a response from us. Nobody had to attack us. We handed over the ground ourselves. That is the part we try to resist. It is a strange relief to be a victim because it asks nothing of us but endurance. To be responsible is harder because responsibility comes with a bill, and at worst, with the possibility of change. If it was them, then there is nothing else to do but to wait for them to be different. If it was me, then there is something required of me today. Notice what the scripture warns about. It did not say, catch us the lions that destroys the vines. It does not warn of a storm that flattens the field or the fire that takes it all in an afternoon. It warns about foxes, and not even great foxes, little foxes, small enough to slip through the fence, small enough to work at night, small enough that you can look at the vineyard by day and swear that you did not see anything wrong. This is how ruin actually comes. Marriage and relationships do not fall apart in just one catastrophe. They erode from 1,000 small silences, each one so minor that mentioning it will feel dramatic. Families don't break in a day. They drift a degree at a time, until one morning the distance between people with the same last name is too wide to shout across. Ministries don't fall. They hollow out from unattended ones. The small compromise excused and the private prayer abandoned until the flame is kept alive by memory instead of a fuel. The vine is not destroyed by what is loud. It is destroyed by what is small enough to ignore. The lion, at least, announces itself by roaring, and you brace yourself to fight or you call for help. The foxes ask for none of your attention. That is precisely why it does the most damage. We defend ourselves against disaster that we can see coming and are undone by the ones we decided weren't worth naming. So ask yourself, what little fox have I been letting run loose? And who and what is paying for the price for my refusal to catch it? So begin dealing with the small things, because the small is where the foxes live. This is a reflection for you. You can't change what you are unwilling to confront. I am Arnolds, and this is a thought to reflect on. Have a blessed day.